So, yeah, it hasn't gone away, but because I learned so much about it at such a young age, I feel like now I'm just like, I'm getting better. I'm getting more positive. I feel like I'm literally becoming a young adult because I don't really get upset by it anymore. I understand it. Of course, I'm going to learn more every day, but it's just a part of my life now.
Welcome to the UpTic, brought to you by the New Jersey Center for Tourette Syndrome and Associated Disorders, empowering children and adults through education, advocacy, and research by sharing the stories and experiences relevant to the TS community. Welcome back to the UpTic. I am thrilled to be here. It's been a couple of months since our last episode. Unfortunately, the state funding for NJCTS is still up in the air, and we all continue crossing our fingers that the organization gets its funding resumed. However, in the meantime, I've gotten the go-ahead to make 2 new episodes of the UpTic. So at least for now, the UpTic is back, and this is the first of the 2 episodes we'll be recording. Today, I'm speaking with 2 incredible teenagers from New Jersey, barely teenager. One will be 20 in a couple of days, but Emily and Amanda Muldowney. I met Emily at the Tim Howard Leadership Academy this past August. Emily has Tourette, and her sister Amanda does not. However, we still like Amanda. How are both of you today?
I'm doing great.
I'm doing good.
Maybe a good place to start would be, I'll say what's interesting about this episode is we've got 2 people, one with Tourette's, one without, both sisters. And I figured the big theme of this episode will be around sisterhood and how you support each other and just kind of Tourette in the family. That's sort of an evergreen topic that's always great to hear more about because, as we know, Tourette is, yes, it's genetic and many people have siblings with it. We also have siblings who don't have it, and how it shows up and manifests itself in the family, and navigating that dynamic is something I think all of us can use just more tips and advice and ideas around. So maybe a good place to start would be for Emily, if you want to share a little bit about how your diagnosis came about and that moment where Tourette's first became part of the family life.
So I'm the first person, of course, in the family to have it, as we know of, but I started having tics when I was like 11 or 12, I think. And well, bad tics at that time. And then I finally got diagnosed this year, actually. And it took a very long time because like neurologists were being like, they like kept sending me off to other people. And yeah, but like we've learned that kind of when I was younger, we've seen videos that I actually did have tics, but they weren't as bad as when I was like, well, as like now, I guess. So yeah, I'm very happy I have a final diagnosis.
Before you had the diagnosis, did you guys within the family make jokes about it? Like I remember before I was diagnosed, and even kind of after, my tics were kind of like a joke with my siblings in a good loving way. But curious if you guys had that dynamic.
Go ahead, Em.
Did we?
I mean, I don't really think so. I think it was a very new thing for us because we've never really you sort of hear about it, movies and like social media sort of, but you don't really get informed on it. So we didn't really know much about it. So like I guess it was sort of like a hesitation as to like what was okay and what would be offensive in a sense. And so I think we sort of refrained from joking about it because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Humor can be a cope for a lot of people, kind of a way to cope with it, but it's also a delicate thing. And there's sensitivities there to be navigated for sure. So maybe we could just dive right into it. I would love to hear a little bit about how you've maintained your bond as sisters with Tourette and life and everything that has gone on. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, me. Okay. That was my cue. But I think we've had a pretty tricky childhood, or both of us have, and that really bonded us as sisters because it became that we were one of the we would always be together and we would find that comfort in being with each other and having that shared experience. And obviously I can't share an experience with her having Tourette, but I think us having that emotional bond for our childhood has really helped us. What do you think, Em?
I I agree. I feel like yeah, I agree, like, with our childhood not, like, having a lot of difficulties, I would say, yeah, we always were together, like, on, like, rough days, I went to your room, on your rough days, you went to my room, it was kind of like we were each other's therapists, like, kind of. So, yeah, I really think that's kind of kept us together because even I feel like when I got Tourette's or when I didn't have the diagnosis, it was like a little bump on the road, but we could stay together even though because we've been through so much worse.
Mhm. And you guys are pretty close in age, right?
We're 5 years.
Oh, so not that close, but I guess
Yeah.
close enough where, yeah,
Yeah.
similar kind of phases of life, at the same time. How do you support each other? How do you do you help each other? Like Amanda, say Emily's having a lot of tics and or co-occurring conditions. It's really flaring that day. What kinds of things might you do?
I mean, I always tell Emily that my text messages are always open. Like, I will always answer if she calls. Obviously, if I'm in class, I can't really do much of anything, but those classes are only 2 hours. So, I'm always available. I try my best to, like, answer the phone. I always try my best to answer her texts. I promise I'm not a bad student, but I do answer texts in class, especially Emily's. But I always try my hardest to just be there for her, and I think that's just my personal way. I think I'm a good listener,
Yeah,
right?
you are yeah, you are.
Um, but I just listen, and I think that really helps. I think I see it helps Emily. I think talking about things and not keeping things bottled up is, like, super helpful in general. So, being able to have that, like, always being able to go to them and not have, like, be judged is, like, you don't really find much of that in, like, the world. You can't really find many people that won't judge you, but I know Emily won't. She might make fun of me, but she won't judge me.
Yeah, I agree. I actually have tech I like every day for school, even if it's like the smallest little problem that happened, I feel like I text her a lot. I like spam her honestly. Like today she wouldn't answer, so I just kept going. It's kind of like my ranting way. If she can't answer, I'm like, okay, she can't answer, but I'll just spam 20 texts. It happens a lot. It happens at least once a day, but it's also kind of like my way of getting things out. She sometimes does the same for me also. She also wait, she does yeah, you know what I mean. She talks to me too. So I'll like it's the same thing or even though it's harder because I don't understand a lot of the things that she goes through because she's an adult and I'm not. I still kinda try. I think I listen sometimes too. It's hard with my tics sometimes because I'm listening and then my tics are all like, "Nope, you can't listen," but I definitely try.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Do you guys live in the same place, or Amanda, are you off in college, or?
So I'm off at college, but I'm only 20 minutes away.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
So I can come home whenever I really want. And Emily likes to come up here sometimes or down here. I'm actually south, but she likes to come join me in at college sometimes.
Good. Oh, that
That's
makes
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, has your dynamic changed over the years between the 2 of you? Like, grown closer, times where you weren't as close? Like, was it when Amanda first went to college, was that a big change in kind of the dynamic? Or do you guys just kinda make it work as you went through each of those?
Honestly, I feel like I never say this a lot, but, like, I feel like it was so much easier with our connection when she wasn't in college. I know that I don't know if a lot of people think that, but it's very difficult because when my least favorite part of the year, I feel like, is when we have to bring everything into her dorm. I'm always like because I don't like cleaning or doing any of that, but it's also just because I'm like, "Oh, I have to handle things by myself now." And I can't just run to my sister's room and rant about the most stupid things. So honestly, I think that has been very it's hard at times, but we get through it.
Do you guys call a lot, or is it mostly just, like, text messages?
I I feel like it's different. Like I feel like we text every day. I can say that. But then I think we call a decent amount. I normally call her and tell her about my school day every day, especially, like, the first day of school or days that were bad. I kinda just call her to rant. Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
I'm thinking about like school being one of the most challenging places we are. Like when you have Tourette's, like school can just be really challenging for people. And I feel like that's something where having a sibling could be really helpful, especially, I mean, not just if they had the same teachers as you and they know, but like just someone to kind of confide in during those like difficult schooling years or where you're just like, I don't know if you guys ever like, Emily, if you ever kind of bottled your tics in during the day and then let them out afterward, or regardless, just like school is tough, even whether or not you have tics. And I think having like a sibling there that's really supportive and gets it, it just goes such a long way.
Yeah, I agree. She actually today I had a bad tick day at school, and I sent a whole giant paragraph to her, and she didn't really answer to that part. She kinda just ignored it, but it's okay.
Sometimes it's nice to just like get it out. Like just it's therapeutic to just like say it or write it down. It's the whole idea of like write a letter but don't send it to like someone when you're like angry. It's similar thing here. Just like you kind of process by writing and stuff. But
Yeah, she's like my little diary.
Aw, that's so sweet.
that's nice.
No.
Amanda, what things do you look to Emily for? Like, how do you lean on her in what ways?
I mean, I feel like I always have so much serious things happening, and I find that Emily can always be that comedy in my life. No matter what, she's always got a joke about something. And I can always call her or text her, and I will get a really silly picture or a really embarrassing photo of myself or the funniest text that makes absolutely no sense from her. She always puts the smile on my face, but some I she has the funny things. She pulls them out of nowhere. I don't
We all
I
need
use
that.
Pinterest.
Pinterest. Oh,
You Google funny things, and it just pops up, and I just save them to my camera roll, and I send them to you.
you Google funny things. That's what you look up.
It makes me laugh. Then I send them to you.
Amanda, do you notice anything that about Emily and her Tourette's that other people might miss? And that's a little bit of a vague question, but curious if anything comes to mind there. Just given how closely you know her and like the dynamic you guys have.
I feel like she always puts on this strong front when she's talking to people, and she talks about she's so proud of her Tourette, and she's like she's worked really hard to like get where she is, and she always talks about all like the positives, but she's not always like that. She struggles, like school, especially these past couple days. I know it's been really difficult on her, and I bet that's how it is for most people just in general. And I think she always puts on that strong front, and that's wonderful because that makes her a great leader, but she does have her tricky days, and I think the way she gets through them and powers through them just it astounds me. It amazes me, really.
Yeah. Emily, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I honestly, it's true. I I don't like putting my problems on others. So, especially when they don't fully understand, because then they're just gonna be like, "I don't understand. I don't know what to do." Especially with, like, Tourette, I feel like I can't always talk to people because they they don't understand what I'm talking about. They're like, "What do you mean you do something and you can't control it?" Like, they think it's just I have horrible impulse problems. It is that kinda, but it isn't really that, and it's very difficult. Like, I have horrible days at school. Today was one of those days, and I just keep smiling at school, and it's honestly one of the hardest things that I feel like someone with Tourette can do is it's really difficult to just push through when you kinda just wanna lay in bed and cry. I I
Yeah.
never say that. I always wanna lay like, today, I literally wanted to leave school so bad. I was like I was having horrible tics. I hit my head into the wall 5 times, and it my head hurts right now, but, like, I'm still going because I know that tomorrow's probably gonna be an amazing day. So, like, I kinda gotta just I've learned a lot, especially at Leadership Academy. I learned a lot about staying positive and all that. So I'm trying.
It's really a balance. No, you said what you said is so true and so valid. There's a balance, I think, between yeah, Tourette's is a superpower, and I put on my smiling face and I try to push through it. But inside, it can be really difficult, and doing that day in and day out, it's grueling. It can be a lot, and especially this is like on top of all the other stress you have with like schoolwork and everything else going on in life. And I think it just underscores the importance of having people in your life that you can be vulnerable with, that you can go to and talk to and you feel safe with. And like, yeah, they're cool with you sending them a giant book of a text message just to get through it, just to process it. We all need that person. And so I love that you have that. None of that undermines the strength that you have. We are all of these things. We are that, that pain that we feel inside, but also the fight through it and the resilience that we build through that. It's all of those things. Have either of you ever had to step in to explain or advocate in like a social situation? And maybe Amanda, this one might be a little more geared toward you. Like, I guess not going to the same school as Emily, maybe this wouldn't ever happen, but curious if you ever like advocated on her behalf or disclosed on her behalf, explained Tourette to someone, that kind of thing.
I mean, I'm going into the profession of education, so getting to learn about Tourette and everything has been, I mean, super helpful to me. I think it's actually made me grow as a teacher in a sense, which is really awesome. And I like to talk about it just like as a conversation sometimes with people because I feel like I found it so intriguing learning about it. And now that I've gotten to experience it, I just have such, I don't know, if, like a passion to express and keep educating people that probably don't even know what it is. I mean, I wish I could advocate for Emily more, but she is, I think, one of the best advocators out there. I don't think she needs me. I mean, like in the advocating sense, she's so good at it. She's so powerful and able to stand up for herself that I mean, like when my friends meet her, or a new person that I'm with, I I like to disclose that she has Tourette because I find that at least people my age are more like chill with it. Like they understand more, but Emily's just a great advocator and I don't think I could do it better than her. So why try, I guess.
Wow, well put. Yeah. Emily, do you see yourself as a strong Tourette advocate?
Yeah, I don't want to be like cocky or anything, but
No, do it. Be cocky. This is your moment.
I think that I've learned, especially because of NJCTS, I've learned so much more about what Tourette is because when I first had it, I was really struggling, what is going on with me? Why am I doing this? I've learned so much that I feel like I just know everything about it. Like not everything, but a decent amount to be able to advocate for myself. And I've had a lot of experiences where someone tells me you need to knock it off. It happened in school today. Even people are like, "Hey, why are you doing that?" I have to be it's hard because I'm like, I have Tourette's, and sometimes people don't even know what that is, and I have to fully explain it. And I feel like one of the hardest things for me is not saying, "I'm sorry, I have Tourette's," because I know I've learned not don't say sorry because you can't control it. And I truly I get it. It's just one of the hardest things for me. I'm still figuring that one out, and I think I'm getting better at it, and I probably will have to advocate for myself tomorrow if me and my sister go to the movie theater because we're gonna see Hamilton probably, and I always have to advocate for myself there because if there's a bald person, I will see them and I will tell them they're bald, and I have to advocate for myself, and have to prepare myself.
Have you ever like been kicked out of a movie theater for vocal tics or not like that?
Honestly, very happy I haven't yet or ever, but I have had people leave because of me. I feel like I'd rather them leave than me get kicked out and have to leave because of my
Yeah,
tics.
yeah, better than you. Yeah, no, at least you get to
Yeah.
see the movie.
Yeah, and it's like my sister was there for that. There was this bald dude, and I literally kept looking over and saying, "You're bald." And then I must it's the funniest tick ever. I say it to my teacher who's bald. I walk in and I say, "You're bald." And it's like, I think that's one of my best ticks because I think it's funny. And I say it 500 times in the movie theater and he just walks out. And I'm like, "You know what? That's fine. I didn't have to walk out." So,
I was gonna ask, like, what's the funniest or weirdest tick-related moment that you both have shared that makes you laugh? And I think that's probably it, unless you've got another one in mind to, like, that might do it.
I think for me at least, I love that one because it's harmless and it's not rude, it's not offensive. People, if you're bald, you're bald. Like, it's not offensive. And I'm fine with that. And I think I don't know, is there any other tick that's really funny? You can say, I don't care. I know you don't always try to talk about my ticks.
I mean, people I you love to bark at people in, like, the
Yeah.
grocery store. That's a fun one.
Yes, I do. I
It's a
honestly think
barking
my
tick
favorite
or yeah.
that's one of my that one it happens in school. I got detention for it once. It was like I got detention for barking at a kid and a kid and then the parent was mad at me. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
It's like, that's pretty harmless. Also, it's a tick, so, like, you shouldn't get punished for it.
Yeah.
Like, a barking, like, that's not even like,
I know.
that's nothing. That's just a sound.
I like the one that I in the store I used to scream that my sister's pregnant and she isn't. And it was really funny. It was so
Forgot
funny.
about that.
That was a fun and then I said her boyfriend's name is the father, and it was so funny. It was the funniest thing because I screamed it, and everyone just stared. I'm surprised no one said congratulations. I'm really surprised.
Like, "Oh, great job." Yeah. Amanda, I would ask how that was, what that was like for you, but I kind of can guess.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward, but you know what it is, and
Yeah,
She was
it was
hiding. She was
yeah,
literally hiding.
oh, man.
yeah, that was a tricky one. That was one that I really didn't know what to do in that situation.
Just yeah, do I something I celebrate? I say, "Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, we're
Do
very
I just go
okay."
with
Do I
it?
do I deny it? Do I out Tourette? What do I do? Yeah. Uh,
Happens a lot in the store. I feel like I do that a decent amount when you're with me at the store.
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely
So I
ticks
take
that,
the
like,
challenge.
other people or situations bring out those ticks. Like, that's super common, so it makes sense that there's some ticks that, like, you do when you guys are in public together.
Yeah.
Any challenges around, like, co-occurring conditions, or Emily, has, like, the ticks been kind of the main dominant thing in your life?
So I have a lot of other, like, not issues, I'd say. I would say yes, my ticks are my one of my number 1 things because it's daily and it's very difficult, but I do feel like my ADHD, that gets very difficult. My sister, Manda's has seen my ADHD get insane. I sometimes can't sit down. I'm just so energetic, and it doesn't happen an insane amount, but it happens enough. And, of course, that's a big struggle because that's a part of Tourette's. It can make your sometimes my Tourette's gets worse because of it.
Mhm.
I like that's just one of my bigger things, and definitely, like, anxiety and all that. That is so difficult for me. Like, I have a thing, like, I cannot be stressed. If I'm stressed, I'm not gonna be able to survive the day. Like, I know stress happens all the time, but I can't have an extreme amount. I've learned to separate myself from, like, drama and all that in school, especially, because I won't be able to handle it because it's gonna mess me up.
It's great that you know your, like, I don't wanna call it limits, but, like, you know the most you can take, and then that you're able to be like, "No, I'm not signing up for more, like, not getting myself in that situation." I think that takes a certain level of, like, maturity and awareness. Amanda, I'm curious to hear about like when the moments that Emily was describing where her ADHD is really bad and or just like flaring a lot. And it's like, it sounds like it's the hyperactivity, like can't even sit down, can't like just stay in one place and kind of relax. Is there anything, not that this is your problem to fix, but like, is there anything you have found that you can do that kind of helps in that situation?
I mean, I think finding something for that she enjoys to like focus on helps. So trying to like recenter her focus sometimes helps, even if that's just like turning on like a TV show or
Mhm.
encouraging her to be like, "Hey, do you think now's a good time to like maybe draw a little bit?" And then sometimes that works. I find that that will help Emily is to like recenter the focus or put your focus on something else that like will take your mind off the stress in a sense. I think that works a lot. At least that's
I,
what I found.
I, I mean, I as well. I personally found that to help me. Just like I can't, you're not going to fix it by having me just like I don't know, try to focus on my thoughts or like try to sometimes breathing exercises can help sometimes in the right setting, but normally the best thing for me would be some kind of distraction. Like I need some kind of stimuli to just take my brain somewhere else and get it on a different, a different path for a while. But it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I'm always curious to think, Emily, like, do you see your Tourette's as kind of a part of your identity? Is it separate? Is it a piece of yourself and how you define yourself? Kind of what's your relationship with your Tourette's like?
I always say that Tourette's is my best friend. I know a lot of my literal best friend, she literally has Tourette's, and I truly understand that she doesn't want her Tourette's. It's bad at times, and I get that some people don't like their Tourette because it's hard on them and it's different for everyone. But especially for me, I really think Tourette's is my best friend that's not human. And I think that it's like something that never goes away. Like a best friend, they're there with you through ups and downs. And sometimes they fade at times, but they don't really go away.
Oh, that's such a
That's
deep
what I
way
kind
of
of think.
thinking about it. I've never thought in that kind of metaphor. That's so beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, I really personally think, of course, sometimes I absolutely hate Tourette. Like, at days, I'm just like, "You're making me mad."
Mm.
But at 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 the same time, I adore it. It's made me of course, I had to grow up and mature a lot quicker than a normal teenager or child would have to, but I have definitely, I think Tourette has made me mature so much and know so much more about who I am that I've become more okay with myself, even though some days I'm gonna struggle.
Yeah. I think it's all of that. Like, and there's no law saying you can't struggle while also being empowered by it and seeing it as a big part of who you are. Actually, on that note, do you think of any can you think of any strengths or sort of superpowers or anything around that comes from your Tourette's, or has it given you a different perspective on your life in any other ways? I think you've hit on some of them
Honestly,
already.
I think that Tourette has really taught me of who my true friends are. It it's very difficult at times when you lose a friend because of your Tourette, or even a family member doesn't isn't is, like, not nice to you because of it, and they will never understand, and they just are nasty and don't wanna talk to you because of it. There's so many situations that I'm thankful that I know now because, like, some of those friends, they were so fake. They didn't stay with me through my hard times, and if they can't stay with me through anything, like, especially with Tourette, that's who I am, and they have to accept that. And of course, I don't have a pile of friends, like, some kids in school even, they have, like, over 20 friends, which is honestly insane to me because I like I feel like I have, like, maybe 3 or 4 friends, and those people, they actually understand me and they support me, they ignore my tics, they laugh when I laugh. It's like it's kind of equal, and sometimes it's gonna be hard for them because some days I'm not the best. Like today, I threw a pencil at my friend at school, and he just looked at me and just threw it back. It's like that's okay because I'm fine with that. I needed the pencil anyways. And it's like, I'm not mad at that. It's like I've learned so much about what a true friend is. And even for family, I have one family member who leaves me a lot because of my tics. And I love them, but at the same time, I'm like, you need to support me and my family. But if they can't support me, they can kind of shoo, I guess.
Mhm.
I've learned a lot. It's really helped me with that, especially that.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And nothing wrong with having a small group of really core friends, like close friends that you know well. I think we have this idea that like, oh, you have to have the more friends the better. And like really it's about like the quality of the friendship. And if you get that with, one, two, three people, that's wonderful. And also, yeah, I can't imagine having like 20 friends and trying to be a good friend to every single one of them. That would be exhausting. But Amanda, we haven't turned to you with any kind of questions or anything lately. Any reflections on this stuff?
I mean, I the past couple years of like ever since Emily like officially like I mean like when she found out she had a tic disorder and then like into this like actually being finally diagnosed. I honestly it's been like the like growth, the such a distinct like growth period that I've watched happen. I kind of like to describe it as like Emily was on like a solid incline and then she like found something out about her and instead of like she kind of like stopped on that hill and instead of like going like down, she like stopped and paused and let it just like stay neutral for a bit and then let it grow and found out like it really like took a second. Like she took the time to learn about it. Like I don't think she ever had that moment where like I think right from the second that she found out that like tics were a thing and that she probably has them, she was she was researching. She was asking doctors. She at like 11 years old was talking to doctors and asking questions. And I you don't find that much.
Right,
Like
right.
you let your mom talk. um
Yeah.
but she always like she instead of like declining on a hill, she definitely like I don't know how she did it. It was wonderful, but she stayed on that hill until she was felt comfortable enough to keep going up it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Emily, do you see it that way as well?
I haven't thought of it that way, I guess. But now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, it's I didn't really go back down, you know? I feel like I did stay in the same spot. I feel like when I started having tics or when I noticed I had tics, it was it was hard, but I was like, I need to learn this. I did research. I especially with that girl Bailyn. She had all of the tics that I had, even though I gained some just by watching it, and that confused me a lot. But I really like she was another big help for me. I There were so many like influencers like with Tourette or even just anything like just some like article about it. That I read them at like 11 years old because I was like I saw that if it's Tourette, it doesn't really go away. And I was like, I need to learn about it if it doesn't go away. So, and yeah, it hasn't gone away, but because I learned so much about it at such a young age, I feel like now I'm just like, I'm getting better. I'm getting more positive. I, I feel like I'm like literally becoming a young adult because I don't really get upset by it anymore. Like, I understand it. Of course, I'm gonna learn more every day, but it's just a part of my life now.
Mhm. Mhm. It really is a journey, and I can tell just, I mean, listening to you, you have a lot of self-awareness and maturity that's, like, wise for your years, and that journey will continue. But I think you've done such an impressive job setting yourself up for, where that journey takes you. So really, I applaud that. Does anything come to mind in terms of tips that you would tell someone who's recently diagnosed with TS or a co-occurring condition? Of course, everyone's different, but are there any big things you've learned that you would tell someone who right as they're diagnosed?
My tip is well, it's not really a tip, but I'd say that it's okay to not be okay because on some days, you're not gonna wanna even get up. You're gonna be sore some days because of your tics. You're gonna be just upset about it. And then some days you'll wake up and you'll be so motivated and you'll be just fine with your tics. It's a never ending cycle. It's up and down. It's insane. And it's gonna be okay though. Like you're gonna be able to survive. You're gonna be able to do whatever anyone without Tourette can do. It's not stopping you from chasing your dreams or anything. You can still do it. You just have to it might take a little slower. You never know. Even if it takes a little slower amount, you can still get there. You just gotta push a little harder than anyone else. And it makes you stronger. So I really think that it's gonna make you stronger, and that's a good thing. You're gonna be stronger than anyone the people who don't have Tourette, they aren't as strong as us. We have to handle something every day. Sorry, Amanda, you're not as strong as us. But
It's true. The resilience that you get. And yeah, I'm always amazed myself at like when I'm having a good day, how like almost trivial and like silly that the problems of my bad day seem. Like my confidence and everything. Like we have our ups and downs. It is like a roller coaster, like you said. And when you're up, like when things are feeling great, I don't really feel like I think back on the bad days and it's like, oh, I got through it. It was nothing. And that happened, that it kind of always happens. Like whenever I'm having a bad day, it's always going to be followed at some point in time, maybe not the next day, maybe it'll be a week later. Some point you're going to have a good day again. And we're always moving forward, you know? So I think putting it in that perspective is super important. And like you said, it's okay to be not okay. Love that. Well, Emily and Amanda, thank you both so much for being on the UpTic. So glad to have you on. And to our listeners, hope to hear from everyone again soon.
Thank you for listening to the UpTic, brought to you by the New Jersey Center for Tourette Syndrome and Associated Disorders, empowering you to stretch the boundaries to live your best life.